Hello and welcome back, you guys. It is Wicked Raider 22. Taking a look at actually my other free accounts, and there are a few things that have caught my attention. I'm actually in the tavern at this point. This is an account that I started probably about 3 weeks after the initial Wicked Raider account, which that account is about a month behind my pay to play. And one thing, if you have not had the opportunity to go in and to start another account, I highly recommend that you do. Number one, you normally have exposure to a couple of champions that otherwise it will take you a lot longer to get to. And this is one of those accounts that I've definitely had quite a bit of success with. Now, what I did end up doing is every account that I've created, I've decided to start with a different champion. And that's been pretty good for a few reasons. So, in this video, according to the title, we're going to take a look at using those champions that are either shard pools or those champions that are obtained through campaign. And as a beginning player, what those champions can actually mean for your account. There are a couple of these that will be extremely common, but in this series of videos to come for the next couple of days, probably, we're going to go down the list and just kind of take a look at a few of these champions in particular, and especially some of the other champions that you pull from your mystery shards. Most of them, 99% of them, are probably food. You hear people talk about those uncommon, common, and rare champions that you should keep. But with over 1,000 champions in the game at this point, there are a lot of champions that don't get the acknowledgement they deserve. So I'm going to pull one. We'll kind of see what happens with that particular one, but there's one that comes to mind. Now, here's a champion, Painkeeper, that I actually pulled not too long ago. We'll go to the index and we'll pull her here. Here we go. Painkeeper, you guys have to ignore this little area. We are a work in progress as far as artifacts on this account. But actually, from the Dark Elf faction, is one of those champions that definitely has in-game potential. You will see reviews. There are quite a few reviews that go over not only the skill set, but recommended artifacts and different ways you can build out this champion. I'll be honest, as a rare champion, kind of puts me in the mind of a few others when they say which champions have been game changers. As a beginning player, when I first pulled Painkeeper, I was not familiar with her skill set, but I loved, absolutely loved the attention to detail and the way they took a little time with this champion. I mean, guys, look, just feeling it, feeling it. So let's look at skill set, kind of see what we're going for, up until this point. We'll start with the reviews because those are always nice to look at. So, first things first, if you are a brand new player, a lot of players will take a look at the reviews just to get a feel for how others are feeling. Now, you've got to keep in mind some people that are reviewing those basic level champions, if they are in-game players, guys, they haven't played with many of these champions in months, if not years, because there are some people who have been here since day one. So if they're telling you, hey, it's a trash champion, based on where their level is, that may be true. But if you are level 5, level 10 overall, in the game, that particular champion may actually be exactly what your team needs. So don't hesitate to use a champion. But if they tell you to be careful with your resources, we will talk about resources. I have definitely found that to be true. When we're looking at Painkeeper, I've currently gotten her up to level 32, 4 stars, have not ascended her yet. She's a void champion, but as you can see by the reviews, a pretty solid champion in most areas. So currently I have been teaming her back and forth with Host Ring, of course, with Aethel is another one, Shaman, who at this point in the game has been extremely helpful for me, as well as from time to time with Shield Guard. So, as I'm looking at Painkeeper in particular, let's look at her skills. Unflagging Advance is the first one. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Fills the champion's turn meter by 10%. For quite a while, as I've been playing through, I didn't really pay attention to the impact on turn meter. When you begin to go through dungeons, when you start looking at, for example, areas within these spirit keeps, certain keeps come to mind as well. I start thinking about Ice Golem as you're making it level 12 and above. Minotaur's Labyrinth is another area, level 12 and above. Within those areas, being able to keep that champion, or sorry, to keep that enemy from attacking is a huge one. And being able to increase the ability of your team is always going to be in your back mind. So having this on that first skill is pretty nice. That 10%, of course, would be nice if it was a little bit higher, but the damage that's given by this attack can be increased by 35%. So something to keep in mind. Spectacular Sweep, with this being an ascended skill. I can tell you one thing for Painkeeper that threw me off: the number of books. Oh, even on this first attack, we're looking at going up to level 6, we're going up to level 8, and that cooldown is so hard to get to. So trying to get this down to a 4-turn cooldown, but it does attack all enemies, then heals this champion by 15% of this champion's max HP. And the damage, of course, is based on HP and attack. You can, once you've ascended this one, attack all enemies, then heals all allies by 15% of this champion's max HP. At base minimum, I would definitely ascend her 3 stars. This is a champion, actually has been recommended to take her to end game, fully ascended, fully mastered out. And so on this one, locking her and reminding myself that this is a champion I plan on keeping for the long haul is going to be a big one. I like this skill. I'm not in love with the number of books that it takes, but getting this down to a 4-turn cooldown, knowing that I can increase this heal by about 35% and also increase the amount of damage by an additional 20%. It's pretty helpful as well. Combat Tactics. Oh, the 7-turn initial. We can get this also down to a 4-turn cooldown. Decreases the cooldowns of all ally skills by 1 turn. This can have a nice impact. If I am working through Doom Tower, for example, if I am working through upper level dungeon, even if you're just starting out, because I have encouraged guys since day one, do not wait to go into dungeons. Even if you're only able to do, levels 1, 2, and 3, stages 1, 2, and 3, it's fine. Repeat those until your champions are able to move up. This moving down to a 4-turn cooldown is pretty nice. And she has an aura. So in Faction Crypt, she's going to increase ally HP by 21%. Now, I have been going through kind of just working with gear that I had on hand. So I do have her in a speed set. I'm going to go back and rework this one anyway, because I definitely want to make sure that I have speed, a lot more speed on her boots. And then I have the cruel set as well as a defense set. Now, the biggest thing I found with Painkeeper when I am building the team, my top 4 currently is Holstring, we have Aethel, Shaman, and then somewhere on my second row of champions, I will pick either of these. And I've been working back and forth to decide who I'm going to 5-star first, and then of course, who will 6-star first as well. You'll notice even with my next row of champions for this account, there's like a cutoff of 8 at this point because I just upgraded Shaman. And I know for a lot of accounts, Shaman is not like the #1 champion to upgrade, but I'll be honest, for this particular account, she has been a game changer. I have not pulled a ton of support champions, which I'm kind of impressed by. Normally on my other 2 accounts is something that happens pretty often. So when I say your strategy is going to change based on the other champions you have, that's going to be really true. Keep in mind, there are also champions in the game that have skills that can only be used if another particular champion is even on their team. So it kind of lets you know the synergy of your team will also become really important. Other than my top 6, the other thing you'll notice artifact-wise, I do have Taraji the Frog, pulled him. I've actually been watching a couple of videos on him. I know that there are people who absolutely love this champion. I want to be able to definitely go through and pull out those artifacts that I truly need. And so I'm going to campaign a little bit longer before I come back and start building on him. He's another one that I think at least will carry this account mid game until we step up to those other champions. He's also really good across the board. So puts me in the mind of Painkeeper. I really had to pick because I think I've received both of these champions kind of back to back from shard pools. I have tried to start disciplining myself when it comes to when I use my multi battles. I have noticed a lot of people will talk about the power of silver, having access to gems, for example. But I'll be honest, guys, one of my biggest things that I just absolutely love, especially when my energy level has been saved up and is sitting pretty high, I love multi battles. Having the ability to go in, set your parameters, line up those additional champions to be upgraded as well has been a game changer for me. But as I go from one epic champion to the next one, Jizo, of course, was one of those logins. Usually after you get your first champion that you're able to get, there's another way to have him, and you can pull him from shards as well. But you'll notice he's another one that's kind of sitting to the side. I know he can be pretty niche, but there are areas like in the faction wars, for example, faction crypts, I'll definitely use him. I have pulled him with other accounts, but I believe I have either vaulted him or used him, unfortunately, as food to upgrade others, which is a big one. The third one on this row, who I have yet to start working with, is Graybeard. This is another rare champion that there have been some pretty good things said about him. I know in the majority of areas, he's a solid champion that can be used in that defense. Really tanky, can definitely put out quite a bit of damage, but he's another one. I did pull my favorite sniper. I've had to actually use sniper as food on probably all three of my accounts so far. She is the second, or if not the third champion that you will likely obtain when you first begin the game. I have 5-starred her before. I would definitely love to keep her on an account and take her to 6 stars. Sniper is one of the highest regarded uncommon nukers probably in the game at this point. Amazing champion, not hard to book, not hard to go through and improve skills. And I promise you that second attack is where it is at across the board. From there, it's all going to fall out to champions that are commonly used as food. And of course, we have the reworked Death Knight as well. So I'll tell you guys, when we're looking at champions like Painkeeper, and I'll go ahead and run her through a simple battle here just to kind of give you an idea of what she's able to do. I've been running a few champions through hard, which for this account has been a little struggle. And hey, why not? We'll try a new stage since we finally got to move forward. We'll do team setup in a little bit. Maybe it'll let me skip it, maybe not. It will not. We know about this level 30. I have yet to set teams. I know that there are a lot of people that once they find a team that works, they definitely hold to it. And I don't blame them. I can see where this is going, but we'll go back and we'll do that setup as well. So I'm going to just put Painkeeper on this particular team. I've been running this team because, of course, all these champions beyond Holstring need to go ahead and, upgrade themselves as well. And when we're going through and kind of looking at campaign farming, I want to farm at the highest level possible, being able to win, of course, and to grab that extra XP. Now, when you see that she started with her second attack, so that was where she was attacking all. And the synergy of this team may actually work pretty well. Her positioning, she should be the second or third person each time who's going to make a move. Now, I know damage-wise, you can definitely scale her up, which is something else I will be working on. My goal for this particular account is to get through hard campaign, definitely start working through brutal, because 12-3 brutal is where currently I'm doing the majority of my farming for those shields, so I can sell those for silver. I am working on reserving even the multi-battles for the same purpose. So this is an area in hard that we shouldn't struggle with. Most of my champions are with the ones I'm working with on a solid team. That top 6 are all level 40 and above. Now, what happens if you happen to go in, you acquire a couple of shards, because there have been a lot of events lately. I've been trying to become a lot more disciplined about when I pull champions as well. But what do you do if you pull a champion and you know that you want to keep that champion, but your resources, your artifacts are just simply not where they need to be? And often I will pull a really good champion and I won't have enough silver in particular to go back and to equip that champion like I would want. I would highly recommend that you go ahead and vault the champion. 2 reasons. Number one, if you see the champion, you will be tempted to start upgrading them. I say it again. If you see them, you're going to be tempted to upgrade them, which means you're now going to stop progressing on your team overall, on that account overall, to go back and to run this champion. You're going to be running them through campaign. You're going to be running through dungeons, however you choose to upgrade your champions, using all your brews. And then you're going to realize the rest of your team has been sitting still while you've been having this moment. And the question you finally ask yourself is, at what point do I take champions from level 5 to level 6? And that 6-star level, guys, when you start thinking about the number of champions that will have to be sacrificed as food, to have those other champions to sacrifice to elevate the one you're going to actually be keeping and using. The question that you have to ask yourself, is this champion mid or in game viable? And at this point, if I think or feel as though for my particular account, you are possibly mid game viable, I will take you to level 50. I haven't ran to a champion where, their activity at level 40 is like the most impressive I've ever seen in my life. I do want to know what it feels like to fully master out a champion, get all the scrolls so that you can, you're able to go all the way down as far as where those scrolls are going to be used, because that makes a huge difference as well. I know that as my champions progress, if we're looking at Painkeeper, just kind of see, how she's doing in battle. As we start to add glyphs and we switch out some of those artifacts that are currently on her, it definitely makes you start thinking about what else does this team need to be successful. There are a couple of ways that you can also initiate those thoughts without having to go through a full campaign. If you are an arena lover, I am one of those. I thoroughly enjoy arena. I mean, clan boss is okay, but I love going through the arena. So when there's an arena challenge, I am all about it. Top prize, all ready to go. I want to see how other teams are built and how those enemy teams work against the current team I have in place. Arena has definitely helped me figure out what position different champions should be in, especially when I'm specifically going into a battle, with a purpose. I'm not just campaign farming. So, hey, I'm just going to toss some people in and wherever they land, they land. But when I'm going in to make sure I can win this battle because I have limited resources or because I'm, limited on time. Those are the areas where I've benefited from being able to see those other teams put together by someone else. Now, there are some champions that you are going to upgrade and it's going to break your heart. And I can definitely say overall, I've had 1 or 2 of those and we will talk about them. But so far, I've been happy with Host Ring, for example. I've been happy with Shaman. I'm working on Frozen Banshee. As you guys can see, my girl went down. She is down. And it was nice for a while. I didn't use Painkeeper. She was just kind of sitting over to the side. But once she joined in the fun, I could definitely see the importance of the skill. And this is one of those teams I could take pretty far, depending on what we have working. Well, guys, we won't elevate this too much longer for you, but definitely want you to look at champions, keep them in mind, their strengths, their weaknesses. Always think in the back of your mind, what else, what more could I do with this particular champion? Because every champion has a place or a spot. And just because they don't work for someone, they may actually work for you. It's Wicked Raider 22. If you've made it this far with me, go ahead and subscribe. Check us out. If you did not see the promo code video from yesterday, I would definitely give it a try. You know, those promo codes can be short-lived, but that is the second or third one this month that we've had so far. So take a look at the other videos. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions, I am always open, especially when it comes, guys, to artifacts, glyph usage, preferred champions. If you see someone over here I haven't gotten to who may definitely be an account helper, let me know. I am in the comments. I will talk to you soon.